What's up, guys, and welcome to another Hyperface podcast. Today we're talking about shredding 101, and I'm joined with
Kiriti.
Awesome. Let's get into it. The main principle of shredding is to lose the most amount of fat while keeping the maximum amount of muscle possible. Right? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to discuss how to keep and maintain and what you should be eating and what exercises ideally that we should be doing. Now, again, the main principle is to lose as much fat, not weight, right? Because there's a difference. Because if you're losing a lot of weight, you could also be losing a lot of muscle, and that's not what you want. You don't want to be skinny fat, right? Where you're skinny, but you're just loose everywhere. You want to lose right amount of fat while keeping as much muscle as possible. You will lose a little bit of muscle, but that's just okay. Right? Go with the food.
So we are back again with the math. Yes.
Always the math.
Here's your math teacher. Mathematics. Okay. So let's get into the food. So if you're trying to go with this fat loss program, you should, number one key is to consider is your calories, man. So you have to eat calorie deficient food. You should be eating under your maintenance calorie. So how does it work? We're going to take a ratio of again with a high percent of 40% of protein, 30% of carbs, and whereas the fats remaining is going to be the again 30% of it. So if you're ideally considering like around like 2000 calories, so you have to be ranging your protein from 200 grams of protein, 150 grams of carbs, and when it comes to the fats, it might be approximately like 67 grams. So that's really good. That's your maintenance calorie. Now what you have to do is that you have to lose your weight. So what you're going to do is that you ideally your set goal should be for the week should be like a 1% drop every week.
In what?
If you consider with the calories, maybe 100 calories or 200 calories per week, you have to reduce each and every week, and try to track your your weight. You try to track your macros and micros, and that's how it works. So these are the basic key points you have to remember for the fat loss. Okay, once I've considered the fat loss, I've started it. I'm taking with the food. What about the exercise you want to say?
Okay, cool. So for okay, sorry, I just sneezed. You did ask me about exercises, right?
Yeah.
And so the idea is, again, we want to keep intensity super high, and so we're going to be focusing on supersets, right? And we're going to be doing a lot of compound exercises. Now, for those who don't know what that is, supersets is just you're going to be doing an exercise right after finishing with one exercise. So 2 exercises in a row. That's just a superset, right? And then we're looking at also compound lifts ideally, and that is just movements that recruit more than one muscle group. So you've got deadlift, squats, and so on. So you want to keep your workout intense, you want to keep your rest short, and you just got to keep your heart rate pumping, and that's the key to workouts while you're on a shred.
Okay. Yeah. That's good to know. So if you're considering about the exercises, we have to consider again is the 1 rep max. Over here we are going to be introducing the 1 rep max with with the main lifts. So and the remaining 40 to 60% will be ranging from like a 12 to 18 reps. You can count it as, because higher the reps range, you have the intensity over there. And regarding for the compound, you can go with the 1%. So yeah, apart from that, you can do that.
Yeah. And the last thing we're going to talk about is always
the rest.
Keep it short, keep it sweet. You have to be intense. If you're just walking around enjoying a sip to the water and your heart rate and you're not like breathing down your neck, you're doing it wrong. 30 to 60 seconds would be the ideal time frame. If you can do 30 seconds, great. If not, build up to getting to that tolerance, right? So you keep it.
But one thing I want to ask you, so it's the shredding program especially is a very high into like a controversial topic as well. So we see a lot of misinformation outside. So for the shredding program, there's a 2 difference, like fat loss and there's like a weight loss. It's a completely what do you want to talk about that thing in a short note?
Yeah, so like we said in the intro, fat and weight is completely different, because there's all these fat diets that, the water diet, the food, the whatever, the liquid diet, and all of these, what they do is they initially just shock your system into dropping a lot of water weight, and that isn't really fat or muscle. And some of them just do both, right? So people just go on an extreme diet and your body's shocked, and then what'll happen is it'll lose most of your muscle mass while keeping your fat, because muscle is actually easier to get rid of than fat, right? It's an easier energy source.
Okay.
It's an easier energy source, so you know you can get rid of that, and that's why you need to be careful with these diets. It has to be consistent, it has to be slow,
Okay.
but you'll get there eventually.
Oh, that's good to know. So, see, guys, you already understand the difference between the fat loss and weight loss. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave any comments if you have any doubts. We are happy to help you out. Take care. See you next video.
Yes, I did.